Welcome and welcome back, Changemakers. If you're new here, hello, my name is Kyra Siva. I am a spiritual mentor and healer, and today we are going to find out guidance from your higher self on your situation. So whatever situation you have on your mind, we're going to get guidance from your higher self on that. Before we dive into the readings, if you are wanting to get a deep dive or just a general reading about your specific personal situation and not in a general reading, go ahead and book a private reading with me. The link is in the description. And if you want more content and just to be a part of a spiritual community, visit me over on Patreon. We are building over there. We just had a great live Q&A talking about the 5 elements and how they affect you on the material plane of existence and also their spiritual qualities. Okay, go ahead, connect with your intuition. Pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. Pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. And we'll get started with pile number 1. Pile number 1. All right, this is guidance from your higher self on the situation you have in mind. Pile number 1. What a treat. I am filming this early in the morning, and I have these little rainbow window decals that I got off of Amazon. And so there are rainbows across your whole reading, and I hope it picks it up on the camera because it is so pretty. Pile number 1, you have been struggling with a situation that has you stuck in a bind. You want, and this to me says very much this is about abundance in all of its forms. You are hoping to unlock more abundance in your life, and you're just really frustrated right now. Your higher self is coming in today to give you some guidance on how to unlock this abundance and how to overcome the personal block that you have with really receiving in the abundance. So the very first thing that your higher self is saying is really to embrace your power. I have the power to make each moment sacred. Everything is material for my liberation. Your higher self wants you to remember that you ultimately do have the ability to take action. Even that this is me totally. I am this pile. Even though sometimes it feels like it's so hard to do that, or you have an emotional issue that comes up and blocks your progress, or you're putting stuff out there and then nothing happens. Your higher self just wants to remind you to refocus on the power and the ability that you do have. This card out of all of these cards has the most rainbows on it, and actually it goes so well. So your higher self is very luminescent, and really just the feeling I get from this is being hypnotized into action through beauty, right? We have this beautiful dancing goddess, and we have these beautiful rainbows. And it's like, remember this light, remember this light, remember the light of who you are. It's a time for you to really continue to take lead. So if there are actions you've been putting off that you know would help you, and you just keep putting them off, this is your higher self saying, like, you don't get out of taking actions. You got to go do it, because those are the actions that will ultimately leading to this unblocking of your abundance. So you're in this fun balance of manifestation where you have to get up and take action, and at the same time be so completely surrendered and basically detached from the outcome of any of those actions. So it's like when you want really good teeth. You wake up, you brush your teeth, you floss your teeth. You're not always necessarily fully in love with the action, but you've just accepted it. Just like, okay, this is the activity of life. You wake up, you go to work, you do your job. You don't have to invest your heart into your job, and you don't have to hate your job. It is what it is. It's a job. You're doing the thing, you're performing the function, and you're getting on with your day. So there's this very strong detachment to taking the actions that you need to take, and that will help you navigate past any sort of emotional turmoil with it. Your higher self also wants to let you know that the things that you have specifically asked for with your abundance, your higher self's really testing you right now to see, do you truly want these? Are you willing to do the extra little elbow grease work, put in the extra effort to get yourself moving through and past the things that typically give you hiccups? Now, I know what you're thinking right now. Kyra, my higher self is being so unfair. If I didn't have these sort of personal blocks, I wouldn't be in this reading right now. Yes, I know I need to take action. So here's how to actually move through the things holding you back. We have this unconditional card and bring love into the situation, new moon in Aquarius. When you go to get through the block, this feels very much like a mother wound block. When you go through it, make sure that you are giving yourself a lot of love, a lot of pep talks, talk to that inner child, and really, really, really encourage them. What would you say to your best friend? What would you say to somebody that you loved with all of your heart? That is how you're going to get through it. So you're like, we'll use a really simple example. I don't want to get out of bed today. And you're like, okay, I really hear that you don't want to get out of bed today. And you know what? I'm going to help you get out of bed today because you're worth it. You're beautiful. You're smart. You're brilliant. You have good ideas. You do amazing things. People like you. You were just giving yourself love. And maybe some of that love is warmth and nurturing. Maybe part of that is I don't want to get out of bed. And then that part of you says, okay, this is me calling out to give myself love. I'm going to go downstairs and I'm going to make the most incredible, nourishing latte. I keep seeing milk and turmeric and honey. I'm going to give myself something so nourishing and so good that when I do this thing, I remember that I have just infused it with love. I have infused it with, I trust myself so much and I love myself so much that I'm willing to do what it takes today. And that's what they really want you to lean into. If you have a hard time with loving yourself through this, then find somebody that you love, your kids, your partner, your best friends. Your pets are always great motivators. If you've got a cute little puppy or dog, or puppy or dog, cat or dog, then use them. You know what? I'm going to get out of bed today and I'm going to go rock out and go to my job so I can, buy my cat an awesome tree stand. Or I'm going to get special treats for my dog because my dog's been an never-ending, glorious giver of unconditional love. So it's about tapping into that love. It's about tapping into the strength of the love and the warmth and the nurturing and the nourishment and the unconditional support that happens through giving yourself really, really pure, beautiful love. Okay, pile number 1, if you like this message, don't forget to click the like button and subscribe. If you like a personal reading, a link is in the description below, and I am changing up my website soon, so I will be moving my Patreon over to my website. And yeah, I will let you guys know when that is available and open. We just did an amazing live this last weekend talking about the 5 elements, and it was so much fun. We got so into it. So hopefully you'll join us next month. And until next time, pile number 1, I hope you have a beautiful and blessed day. Pile number 2. All right, pile number 2. I am filming this in the morning time, and the sun is coming through a window decal that I have that creates rainbows, and it is so freaking pretty. I really, really hope it shows up because all of these piles so far this morning look so freaking magical. Okay, pile number 2, let's dive in. Pile number 2, this is guidance from your higher self on your situation that you have in mind. when I was pulling your cards, pile number 2, a blue card kept flying out. I was hoping to just get one, and they were quite, your higher self was quite insistent that there had to be 2. And it's been interesting as I've been looking over the cards, because it feels very much like we have these 2 personal growth storylines going on. One where you were becoming the phoenix in a certain way and growing through that, and the other where you're doing this really deep shadow work healing. So pile number 2, on this sort of more extrovert side, you've come from this really tough place. You've probably been in like a toxic work environment. You've just been so stressed out by, this reminds me of a friend that I have that just left a job where the corporation was so toxic, and it's like, I don't want to go back to another toxic corporation. It's like, yeah, so many businesses are like that. It's who knew work could be so traumatizing? So over here, pile number 2, we see that you're having this phoenix moment. You've been released free. It's tough. It's hard. Change, transformation, it burns. But ultimately, you get this new beginning for your work. You get a refresh for your career. You get it's like you have a new job coming in, or you have new opportunities. You had a chance to take a break. And I love how both of these cards have these sweet little smiles, like these nice little half smiles. It's like you've had this moment to breathe and remember what just feeling content is. It's like when you leave a toxic work situation or even a toxic relationship, and you've stepped out of that, and you can feel like you can breathe again. And you have these little moments where you're like, oh, that's what happiness feels like. Oh, like my whole brain is not just overloaded with thinking about how to survive in this place. And what it's caused is you've been having some really bright ideas. You've been having some really cool visions. And we can see over here in the Hermit card that you have had this time to do one of the essential parts of phoenixing, which is after the exterior sort of breaks down and burns apart, your world is left in rubbles, right? Your world is left in ashes. But there is a kind of silence and stillness in those moments of being in the ash. It's actually a really beautiful and incredible space. It's that moment when you realize this is really over and done. I'm actually settled, even though I probably have a lot more healing work to do. But it's this moment of stillness where you're sitting in the ash and just realizing that that chapter is closed, and you can feel the new chapter emerging. You can start to see visions of what you want to do with your time and your life and your career and your finances. And you start to imagine something bigger than that. I love over here in Inanna, the queen of heaven and earth. I have nothing to hide. I see and accept all that I am. Your higher self really wants you to know that as you go into this space and you give yourself unconditional acceptance, all of the good, all of the bad, all of the beautiful, all of the ugly, when you look at the full scope and richness and depth of your human experience, and you just say, I accept you. I accept you. The times that you were wrong in those situations, I accept you. The times that you were unsure, I accept you. The times that you did know it was right and you still didn't get the your way, even though you knew it was the right way, I accept you. It's unconditional acceptance is a kind of peace. It grants your soul and your energy and your mind and your heart a kind of peace. It's where you find that inner stillness in you. You were sitting in the ash and you were saying, I accept that my life just burnt down, and I trust and I know in this acceptance that something better is on its way for me. And what an incredible gift. So you have a really strong new beginning coming. This could be a new job. This could be a healthier work environment. This could be a new area of studies. It is a space for you to enjoy the emerging, right? This new beginning is like the flowers and the plants that grow up through the ash. Their roots have been nourished. The nutrients from whatever has burnt down has broken down and gone back into the soil. And now all of that life-giving nourishment that comes with that part of the cycle is bringing you new life. So this is a really cool thing that you're going through. Let's hop into this now. So we know that you're phoenixing, you've got a bright new beginning. This is a whole other layer of healing. And I don't know that I've ever done a reading where I got two messages. Like, this tells me that you are a complex person and that you have you're growing a lot. Like, you are a very self-aware person and you know how to do personal growth. And so you have the capability of working on multiple issues at the same time. The abandonment card is really about, it's a kind of mother wound, but it's basically you didn't get the freedom as a child. This feels very much like eldest sister syndrome. You didn't have the freedom, or eldest sibling, I could say. You didn't have the freedom of just being a kid. You had responsibilities pushed on you way too fast, way too early. And so a lot of that carefreeness wasn't a part of your childhood. And it's really interesting that they're showing this candle here. So working with candles or doing candle magic, looking at a candle, or even offering these kinds of pains, you know, the feeling that your childhood was stolen from you, or that you were just never good enough. And then you're older and you realize that you were a kid. There is no way you can meet adult. You can't be an adult as a child. You're developmentally not capable of doing that. And so you find this moment of forgiveness within that, right? But you feel the injustice of it. So you can use fire. You can write down all of those things that hurt you and throw them into the fire, is what your higher self is saying. Ultimately, you need to step out of doing what you normally do as a protective behavior. What you learned how to do as a child in your relationships now as an adult will destroy them. It will harm them. So this is an invitation to really look at this wounding and to really work through it and process it. If you love therapy, go to therapy. If you love healers, go to healers. If you love doing your personal introspective work, do that too, or do it all together. Ultimately, they're showing me like this is fear from childhood. Like you're working through specific fears that you developed in childhood, and now they're less conscious for you. Like it's operating in the background, but you don't always recognize it because it's lived with you for such a long time. So they're like your higher self is basically saying, this is what the core issue is. You have to get yourself to move out of these fear states when you recognize that you are engaging in your, what is the word? The behavior you adapted to survive the circumstances you were put in as a kid. All of those things are going to allow you to lay a more solid foundation for your heart and for your relationships. So say you had like a narcissistic mother, right? Or an emotionally immature parent, and you wound up being the parent for that parent. You have learned certain coping mechanisms to deal with that. And now it shows up in your professional career. It shows up in your personal relationships. It shows up in you overgiving. It shows up in you not asking for what you need. And those kind of behaviors are so normalized for you that you haven't understood yet that those are actually rooted in this really unfair circumstances that you didn't deserve to go through as a kid. So that is the healing work. And you're probably already very well aware of this, but if you're not, that is part of the issue that's going on. And it has to some extent affected your work life. Like this card insisted on coming out together. So there is a tie between these. So if you're doing your deep dive after you just left a horrible environment, toxic environment, and you're like, why is this happening? This is why. This is a piece to heal with that. As you lay this solid foundation, you are going to watch yourself grow. And then your higher self's recommendation for you is just enjoy watching the flowers emerge from the ash. Enjoy getting to know the new you. Enjoy as you learn your coping mechanisms and you consciously undo those and you're choosing new things. Enjoy the process of becoming the next version of you. I guess they say this a lot more in like the personal training world, but I don't think we celebrate this enough in spiritual growth and in personal growth, which is really embracing the in-between, really falling in love with the person that is partially who you were in the past and partially who you're becoming, because there's so much more to you than what you've ever known about yourself. And as you find out how strong and determined and capable you are, and how good you are at setting boundaries, that seems to be a really big theme in your pile, is to really, really set those boundaries. You get to experience these new levels of yourself. Wow, cool. Okay. I'm doing this filming at like 8:30 in the morning. So what a way to start the day. Incredible. All right, pile number 2. All the best to this. If you need extra support, go ahead and schedule a private reading with me. And I would love to help dive deeper into this, and we can work specifically on helping you grow through this. All right, pile number 2. Until next time, I hope you have a beautiful and blessed day. Pile number 3. All right, pile number 3. What a freaking cool pile. This is the guidance from your higher self for the situation that you have in mind. Pile number 3. You are the kind of person who is into psychic development. This question, if you're in this group, is a spiritual growth related question. This is you asking about growing your psychic development skills, seeing if, say, you want to have a spiritual business and you're taking the next step in that. Is it going to be successful or not? It's you bringing spirituality into your day-to-day life and growing into the supernatural while learning how to master being in the natural environment. Pile number 3, your higher self is coming into your reading today to just give you a big old great fucking job. You are doing so freaking good. Let's look at the beautiful colors of this pile because they're so pronounced. We have all of these purples, the violets, the blues. You can even see these nice teal colors combining and then you have the vibrancy of the butterfly spirit to the 9 of Pentacles, where you've got these pops of yellows and oranges, reds. One of your main cards here is the diamond-hearted Dakini. I see the light in my own darkness. I face my ego beliefs to feel free. I will also say I am filming this early in the morning and I have the sunlight coming through my window, and I have these decals that I got off of Amazon that creates rainbow prisms. And your readings are all of the readings this morning, it's so pretty because there are rainbows just sprinkled all across your readings. And I don't know if you can see it on here. I hope you can. You actually have a rainbow illuminating the center of this. Like the bell is a rainbow color. This whole section is rainbowed. So you are someone who has allowed their luminous and brilliant light to really shine through your heart chakra. You've been putting in a ton of work doing your spiritual practices. And if you've been asking about a spiritually based business or any kind of healing work that you want to get out into the world, your higher self is coming in and saying, absolutely yes, it is going to take off and fly. You have done so much of the energetic work to fulfill that. Now the actual material abundance, wealth, recognition, fame to the degree that you need it to carry out your work is coming into you. In this process, that you've been doing, working with your higher self, refining your energies, expanding your spiritual capabilities, you've really gained this incredible sense of emotional mastery. You've really been able to balance the loving, I'm going to say disciplined or firm. But you know how oftentimes we associate male archetypes as the ones having strong boundaries and like laying down the law and making sure that your boundaries are enforced and really holding the structure and form for all of the feelings to flow through. You've been able to really gain that. It's been also a part of your psychic development. So when you go, say you're like unlocking the next level of your clairs and the sensitivities that you have just been gaining so much more insight into, okay, this is how this type of clair works, like your clairaudience. Oh, I understand it at a deeper level. It started off like this, and now I'm going to the next deeper level. And I feel like you've done that multiple times. Like your higher self's showing me 3 times of having 3 major growths in the understanding and your ability to go even deeper with your knowledge. And you've really put in the time and the practice for this type of introspective work. You've also got, I love these 2 cards together. So you have the fullness of the Empress. She is, she's the Empress. She has everything she wants. She's nourishing, abundant. So, and then we have the 9 of Pentacles, who's obviously enjoying the luxurious life. So you're getting to have all of these blessings come in. This season of your life that you have just stepped into is a season of blessings. It is a season of good news, of positive results, of things getting a lot easier, and of you really, really being able to manifest the dreams that you have held on to for such a long time. You literally are weaving. And when I was looking at this card, listening to the messages, what I got was, this is my shadow pile, right? This is the kind of people who are so attuned to the mysteries that lie within themselves, the cosmic breath of creation, that you're the kind of people who can enjoy being in the shadows. You enjoy the subconscious. You enjoy the subtleties, the softness. You like working at the level of intention, and you enjoy watching the process of creation coming into manifestation. You're really protected at this time. So whatever it is that you're carrying out, you're really, really protected. And it's still a time where you have a lot of flexibility. So as you keep practicing your skills, as you keep expanding, just know, maintain a flexible attitude. My Swami used to say it this way: have a sporty attitude. If it happens, great. If it doesn't, great. If it, neither or, great. Like, just have a sporty attitude about it. Maintain a good amount of flexibility and trust that you are in a season of abundance now. You are in a season of rewards, and all of your hard work is coming in and paying off. How cool is that? Okay, pile number 3. If you want to dive deeper into your particular situation, feel free to get a private reading with me. A link is in the description.